Okay, so I'm done with that. Okay. The other question you asked, though, was interesting in that there are knock-on effects for whether you have an abortion or not have an abortion. You said something I disagree with, which is like people don't consider the knock-on effects. I think people do. I think that's one of the Democratic attacks to Republicans that I think is one of the best attacks. That it's like it seems like Republicans are very, very, very invested in the fetus right up to the moment of delivery, and they don't give a fuck anymore about it. And that's always something that I think bothers a lot of people on the left. It bothers me, where it's like, okay, well, if you're truly invested in happy, healthy babies and not just happy, healthy fetuses, like it seems like we should be doing things to support them after birth. Like for instance, when Republicans failed to come together and expand that child tax credit that Biden had expanded, that raised the tax credit for families with children, that would have been a good way to show that, like, okay, look, well, we do want to take care of children outside of the womb too. But yeah.
I have to put on a hat, or my ex-wife would be very upset with me. I agree with you, and as long as we're talking about political distinctions and who cares and who doesn't. But there's a really bad line of argument, far worse than bodily autonomy, that runs around particularly in leftist circles, which is, oh, well, they don't care about kids after they're born. And usually they're talking about the religious right who are opposed to abortion. That's a lie, and it's a mistake, because there is almost no one who spends more money, time, and effort adopting babies and making sure babies are taken care of than the religious right. It's the broken system of teenagers that we can't find homes for that didn't come from those situations from, just a mere forced pregnancy. But if you're like, oh, if you love babies so much, why don't you take them and adopt them and take care of them? They do, all the time. There's not even enough of them. There are no babies in the system, functionally, apart from really special cases. By and large, there's a waiting list for babies. And so no matter what your view is on abortion, if you're going to talk about this, we all have a duty to make sure we're not misrepresenting the other side. No matter how much I hate their position, the fact of the matter is fundamentalist Christians are taking care of babies. I know you didn't say, you said Republicans. I go further.
Yeah, I believe that, I know that the adoption, I was going to mention that earlier in our argument, that like when you talk about like the broken system, there is a high demand for new babies, because that's like the clean slate, right? You want to adopt, you're going to adopt, you want to adopt like right after they're born.
It's the new car, it's not somebody else's problem. Sure. That's how they look at it.
But I mean, there are like single moms that don't want to give their children up for adoption after they have them, and it seems like people are a bit reticent to support, the struggling families, or at least on the right it feels that way. But that's a whole other kind of political conversation, I guess. But, yeah.
Origin versus